are you looking for? Are you a believer?
I suppose I don't know what I believe in.
I hope you don't scare easily.
Welcome to the experiment.
What's wrong with her? She was abandoned. She remembers nothing from her past. Families would keep her for a bit. Then things would happen.
For you guys, genre-wise, because we're a genre-savvy site, I'm curious, you know, we've seen so many supernatural thrillers. What spoke to you about this film? Did you guys kind of go in thinking, you know, these are the elements that I want to see from a supernatural thriller before I went into it, and how did the material please you in that sense?
For me personally, I like the idea that it was approaching this subject matter from the point of view of a skeptic. And it's very similar really to the journey that your character takes throughout the movie, which is he's someone who all of his objections are slowly taken away until he finally encounters it and has to figure out, well, what is it that I'm experiencing, which is the sort of same journey that the audience takes. And I like that. I like the fact that you don't go in having to believe in the occult and, you know, an afterlife and the devil and all that kind of stuff, you know, that you're start from the point of view of convince me. Right.
Same for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, that was definitely one element that drew me to the project. I also think, for me, having Hammer's name attached to a horror movie was quite attractive, especially, you know, having watched The Woman in Black only, you know, the year prior and Let Me In, which I was a big fan of. Also having John Pogue as a great writer and director who's also very, very collaborative in the way that he works. So, you know, having sat down with him and auditioning, like realizing that he was someone that I could work with, which is always always a good start. Jared was already attached, again, very attractive man and element to the filming. But also for me, it was the journey the character goes on, the drive, the passion that he had, and having the ability to kind of develop that, which was very, very. Yeah, drew me to it. But,
well, I'm curious for you, Olivia, how exhausting was this role? And also, did that doll smell? That doll looked disgusting. We were sitting, somebody in the theater was like, that thing looks like it could smell really bad.
I mean, like, physically, I was exhausted just because it was very physical all the time, every day. But the doll didn't smell. We had a lot of dolls, and I remember the prop guy would go mad at me because I'd be smashing it against the wall, and he'd be like, please just don't get the face. And I'd smash the face in all the time. We'd have to go and get a new one. He'd get really upset. I was like, I'm sorry. Don't smash the face. I know, and I'm like, well, I need to smash the doll on the wall. Right. Anyway. Just doing your job. But no, it didn't smell. I was kind of like, I came quite attached to the doll. It was kind of always resting. It was always
even when they say cut.
Yeah, it was always just resting.
And you have like an endless supply of flannel. Man, your character is just like nonstop plaid all the time.
He loves his flannel shirts. Yeah, no, it was. I mean, it was great having it set in the '70s purely for the fact of seeing like Erin's character, especially kind of really fluctuating in all the '70s outfits. I mean, it was really, really fun. And I think that, you know, it makes for a great setting for a horror movie. Like, you know, the isolation is that much greater because we don't have the technology that we have today. You know?
Well, it's interesting because a lot of the best supernatural thrillers came out of the 70s. A lot of the best stuff came out of the late 70s, early 80s, and now we're doing horror films set in that period where some of the best movies came out of. So it's interesting to see that come all full circle. How did John create a sense? I mean, obviously, I think the dynamic with which your characters work on screen comes across very plausible. You guys all have a great dynamic. How did John help set the tone for that? Was it the location that you guys were there all the time coming into work, or
we had 2 weeks rehearsal? Which is really unusual, and he rightly insisted on it. And normally on films, there's just they don't do it anymore, and because of the found footage element of the story, some of those scenes are 14 pages long, and they had to happen in one take. And obviously, if you got something wrong at the end, you'd have to go all the way back to the beginning. So we had a little sort of like a little theatre company for the first 2 weeks, and we got together and we, you know, we bonded, and we got to understand and know one another and figure out what worked for each other, you know. So
yeah, very cool.
I really don't know if I can do this.
You're scared because you can't explain what you see.